The next term we will be looking at is formal and informal, or formal and familiar. So the informal familiar pronouns are tu, you, for the singular form, and voi, you, plural, for the plural form. They are used when talking to members of the family, friends, and young people. I suppose you can look at it as anything that is you're addressing someone in an informal situation, and familiar expressing that you are talking to someone who you are familiar with. Therefore, an example is come stai. So you're talking to the person who you are familiar with in an informal situation, and you're asking them how they are. Come stai. So you're using the second person form of the verb stare, because you're talking to someone using the familiar or informal form. If you're talking to more than one person and you want to ask them how they are feeling, use the voi form, come state. So come stai, singular, to one person, how are you? Come state, how are you all, or how are you both? These are informal forms because you're using the second person. You're asking someone how they are feeling by using tu and voi. On the other hand, lei with a capital L, even though this is at the start of a sentence, lei does have to have a capital L in the formal form, and I'll explain why. Lei is used for both masculine and feminine singular, and it is used with a third person singular form of the verb when you're addressing someone you do not know very well, older people, and professionals such as doctors, lawyers, and professors. Loro is used when addressing more than one person in a formal circumstance. With the word addressing, it can be either in the spoken or written form. So going back down to the verb stare, we need to add here another pronoun in the third person singular and in the third person plural, and that is lei with a capital L. And loro with a capital L. Okay, so going back to our example up here, come state and come stai. If I need to ask someone how they are feeling, and I'm talking to someone I do not know very well, a professional, older person, or I'm speaking in a formal situation or a formal circumstance, I will not use the tu form of the verb. And this is with any verb. This is just one example. However, I will use the third person form. That is why it is important to have a capital L for lei. This lei with a lowercase l means she. This L with a capital L means you. But you're using it with the third person conjugation of the verb. Therefore, it's formal. So if you're asking someone in a formal circumstance how they are feeling, you will say come sta, not come stai. It still means how are you, but it's how are you formal. If you want to ask more than one person how they are feeling, you'll say come stanno. Okay, how are you all, or how are you both? Even though the pronoun doesn't appear in this example, the use of the third person conjugation is essential to make the sentence formal. Just going back to this conjugation, so if como está means how are you formal, how would you say how is he or how is she feeling? And it is the same. So if I want to ask you how someone you know or someone we both know is feeling, I will say como está Maria? Como está Franco? And I'm asking you how that person is feeling. Therefore, I could also add here to make it or to emphasize that I'm using the formal form. I can say lei come sta or loro come stanno. Again, it could get a bit confusing if you're trying to understand if it's asking someone how they are feeling using the formal form or asking someone how someone else is feeling. But I suppose you have to look at it in context. Okay? This is just one example again with the verb stare. Anytime you want to talk to address someone using the formal form, you must use the third person conjugation of the verb. Okay, the next term is moods.